Her Oriental dance made her an icon of the turn of the 20th century. As a half-naked medium, she cast a spell over her audience to become a star. Emancipated up to her black garter, she could wrap politicians around her finger and influential military officers ate out of the palm of her manicured hand. She was none other than Margaretha Geertruida Zelle, the Mata Hari. I'm Indy Nidell. Welcome to a Great War bio special of Who Did What in World War I, today starring Mata Hari. Margaretha Geertruida Zelle was born in 1876 in Leeuwarden in the Netherlands to a wealthy family. Her father Adam was a hat merchant. He was also a real party animal and a financial speculator who eventually went bankrupt. When Margaretha was 15, her mother Antje died, and her penniless father took her twin sister with him to start a new life, leaving Margaretha and her younger brother with their godfather. She was sent to a girls' boarding school and was expected to become a governess. However, at the age of 17, she was accused of having an affair with the 50-something school director and was expelled from school. She then lived with an uncle in The Hague. 2 years later, she answered a newspaper ad placed by Rudolf John MacLeod, a military captain in the Dutch East Indies looking for a wife. She sent a photo of herself. Beautiful, young, raven hair, olive skin, MacLeod was smitten, and despite the 21-year age difference, they married July 11, 1895. They lived initially in Amsterdam but would relocate to Indonesia. The rocky marriage would last 9 years and would produce 2 children, a son and a daughter. MacLeod was an alcoholic and went into frequent rages because of the attention his beautiful young wife got from other officers. But he also had a mistress, which was an accepted practice in Indonesia at the time, but it certainly didn't make Margaretha very happy, and she abandoned him for a time. She joined a local dance company and in 1897 first adopted the artist name Mata Hari, Malay for sun, and which literally means eye of the day. As her marriage crumbled, tragedy struck when her children became violently ill. Now, it's not exactly certain the cause. The family claimed they were poisoned by a servant, but other evidence suggests it was from complications arising from the treatment of syphilis they inherited from their parents. In any case, the 3-year-old son died. The parents soon returned to Europe, and MacLeod left Margaretha, taking the daughter with him. Alone and penniless in Paris, she first earned a living as a horseback rider in a circus, for real, and then posed as an artist model. In 1905, she met Émile Goumet, who invited her to a dance in his museum, right? And she began to support herself as a dancer under the name Mata Hari, and she was a hit, taking the Paris salons by storm and touring the continent. All things Oriental were the rage of the time, and Mata Hari's exotic looks and temple dance, based on what she'd learned in Indonesia, wowed the crowds. She even had a new backstory. I was born in the holy city of Jaffna-Patam. My father was a highly regarded Brahmin, my mother a temple dancer who died when giving birth to me at the age of 14. I grew up as a charge of the temple priests. They consecrated me to Shiva, and I was introduced to the holy mysteries of love and divine worship. Draped in veils and almost nothing else, she would appear on a white horse, daringly baring her posterior, though she kept her breasts covered with beads, and the Siren of the East helped turn striptease into a popular art form. But, as we know, beauty fades, and within only a few years, Mata Hari's bookings were few and far between, as the next generation of dancers took over. In order to maintain her lifestyle, she seduced government and military figures. Her final live show was March 13, 1915. By this time, the war was in full swing, but as a Dutch national and the Netherlands being neutral, she could cross national borders and country hopped, eventually coming under the scrutiny of British and French intelligence. And then the surprising happened. Mata Hari fell in love. Yep, she fell for a 21-year-old Russian captain in 1916, and when he was wounded, she accepted lucrative assignments spying for France from an army captain, Georges Ladoux, who figured her contacts would help French intelligence. Okay, I've just said that, but it's really unclear just what her spying activities actually were, if any. Different sources say different things. One source says that first she gave the Germans some, as she claimed, outdated French intelligence for money, and she herself claimed she worked for the French spying in Belgium. When she was picked up by the British while in England, she told them she worked for French intelligence, but nobody backed her up. Then again, maybe they didn't want to blow her cover. She herself insisted that her plan was to seduce her way into the German high command and turn their secrets over to the French, but that never happened. In January 1917, a German attaché in Spain transmitted messages with info he'd gotten from a spy he referred to as H-21. The French intercepted these messages and from the info identified the German spy as Mata Hari. However, there are claims that the Germans knew the code the messages were transmitted in had already been broken and the messages were meant to be intercepted. This seems not to be true to me, since that code was the same code the Zimmermann telegram was transmitted in during the same month, and you should look that up. But that was definitely not meant to be intercepted. Again, whatever the reality was, Mata Hari was arrested in February 1917 in Paris and tried as a German spy on July 24th. When she admitted that a German officer had paid her for sexual favors, the prosecution painted it as espionage money. The military tribunal took less than 45 minutes to find her guilty of spying, which isn't surprising since it seems her defense attorney was not allowed to cross-examine the prosecution's witnesses nor to question her directly. Mata Hari was executed by firing squad October 15, 1917 at the age of 41. At her execution, she waved away the blindfold and supposedly blew the soldiers a kiss. The Historical Dictionary of German Intelligence says that German documents unsealed in the 1970s show that Mata Hari really was a German spy. But there's been so much conjecture and contradictory information about her that I'm not sure just what to believe. But the idea of a femme fatale, an exotic dancer working as a double agent, using seduction to discover military and government secrets has really stuck in the public imagination. And there have been, and continue to be, plays and films about her life and death, notably the 1931 film Mata Hari starring Greta Garbo. So there you have it in a short tale, a woman whose fame or infamy from the First World War has endured for a century, Mata Hari. Mata Hari was certainly one of those women from the early 20th century that lived enough life for two. Another such woman was the Serbian soldier Milunka Savic, whose episode you can see right here. Follow us on Instagram and on Facebook for your extra dose of World War I knowledge, and don't forget to subscribe. See you Thursday.